trade the relationship without trading the spouse. This was the topic yesterday. And some of you came to me during the dinner and said that it was encouraging for you, as I spoke about my children, that I would like to see the whole movie of them, but everything I have now is just a snapshot. And this is all I have, and we need to somehow get hope out of this small snapshot. But I just wanted to get back to the topic of yesterday with one story that I want to share you with my son, so you can see there is always hope. He decided to go a little further away from the church because he needs to struggle for his own identity and to find his own way with God. But we used to invite him always to come with us to church when he's at home. We speak a lot about God, about Jesus and what he has done for us. And I don't see too much response from him, but every now and then there is something that gives us a really big hope. 2-3 months ago, we were driving in my car. He drove, I sat next to him. This is a completely new life experience when your son drives your car, not the cheap one that you buy him, but your car, your beloved car. And we were chatting about silly things. I told him about a video that I saw on YouTube about tattoos that went wrong. Somebody wanted to make a tattoo with Chinese letters, and as he met a Chinese person, he read what this tattoo means. It was soya sauce. So all kinds of funny stuff. And then he said to me, "Oh, Daddy, I wanted to talk to you about tattoos." Okay, let's talk about it. What is on your mind? He said, "You know, your birthday is coming, and I thought to make a tattoo for myself as a gift to you." What? You would like to make a tattoo for yourself as a gift for me? And what would be the big message that you want to carry on your body through your whole life? Well, it would be your name. What? You would carry my name on your body for your whole life? Yes, he said. And I would be very proud to carry your name on my body. I said, "What brought you to this idea? You know, your birthday is coming, and I thought, what would be the gift that would express my deep respect that I feel for you? You are the most important person in my life, and I want to show this somehow." I was really shocked. But then he continued, "You know, I learned always to ask, not to say things, especially when it comes to teenagers and young adults." Then he said, "But you know your approach to tattoos, and I thought it would maybe mean more to me than to you. So I think I will find another gift that will express my gratitude and my respect." So you see, they go far away, but they will come back. So trust those years that you have spent together. Everything you see now, no matter how deep the crisis is, it is just a snapshot. They will come back. So now we go into another topic. And for this afternoon, I choose some very tough issues. I hope you are very brave, because it will get tough today. First, we will speak about conflicts. I mentioned already yesterday that even a fool can shut the door. Now we go deeper into the topic. And I mentioned yesterday that it is possible to prevent infidelity in a marriage. In the second presentation, we will dig very deep into that topic too. So, first let us start with the conflicts. Are you really fighting about the thing that you think to fight about? This is my big question. You see, this is our story in two pictures from 1995 till today, and there is always a space for growth. I just mentioned yesterday there was a sentence very early in our marriage that really drove me mad. If you would love me, you would know every time I ask my wife, what's wrong, honey? I see something is wrong, something is disturbing you. What's wrong? Tell me, please. If you would love me, you would know what's the answer. I cannot express how nervous this sentence made me. I felt so helpless. But finally, she learned to speak and I learned to listen. Both of the lessons were very, very hard. I have an observation from Dr. John Gabor, who says 69% of the couples fight after 3 years about the same issues in the same way. 69%, that's a huge number. I hope you are not among them. But if yes, there is still hope. We tend to fight about the same issues in the same way over and over again. But what is the thing really that you are fighting about? Is it really the thing that you think to fight about? Or is there something beneath the surface that you are in reality fighting about? Let us take a deeper look. There is this quarrel. Who should bring out the garbage? You know, the classic one. This is just the surface. But there is so much more beneath the surface. What can be these hidden things that we fight about? Let us take this classic example. Would you take out the garbage? This can mean so much. I come home exhausted after a full day of work, and my wife just asked me this short question. Would you take out the garbage? For me, it is just about the garbage. For her, it means so much more. It can be, for example, a question of power. Who is the boss in the house? Who has the right to say who has to do what? That's the big question in this case. So if she says, would you please bring out the garbage? In reality, she is curious if she has some influence on her. If I am willing to do something that she tells me to do, and if I respond in a negative way and say, you know what, ask the children, I'm done for today. Then, what was my answer? You have no influence on me. I do what I want, and not what you want me to do. Understood? This is my answer, without knowing the question that I have answered. But this will be the answer in her ear. Or it can be a question of love. When she feels somehow disconnected. We had some tough days, we were just running in our own jobs and we're very occupied in our mind and in every possible way. And it is so painful just to stop me and to ask, Gabor, do you still love me? Because I'm insecure. No. She packs this question into the garbage and asks me, would you please take out the garbage? In reality, she's asking, do you still love me? And by saying, you know what? Ask our daughter. She has more time than I, and I'm too tired for that. What was my answer? No. I am full with my own stuff. Please leave me alone. I don't have time for things like this emotional garbage. This was the answer that I gave without knowing what the question was. And so we go away from each other, more and more distant. Respect is also a question. It is a very common thing for ladies who work at home, who keep the household, who keep watch over the children. It is a big question. Do you respect what I do here all the time? Or is your respect only for those things that you can measure in money? So would you please bring out the garbage? What was the question? Do you respect the work that I do here at home? The household chores. Do you respect all that I do here for you too? And by saying, no, ask the children. They have more time than I. What was my answer again? I don't respect that what you do here. I respect only the things that you can measure in money. This was my answer without knowing what the question was. You see how we can misunderstand each other with the best intentions? It can be a question of commitment. When the neighbor asks some help from you to help him take out some heavy thing from the car, you are jumping. But what happens at home when you should bring out the garbage? Where is your commitment? In your family or at the neighbor's house? It can be a question of integrity. You tell to everyone that you are the husband of the century. But let me put you to the test. Would you please bring out the garbage? And she will give the answer. In order to give the right answer, we need to know what the question was. We give all the time the wrong answers because we don't know what was the question. So how can we find what these hidden dynamics are in our relationship? We are helpless victims of our hidden dynamics until we don't recognize the patterns. There is a pattern behind our fights, behind our quarrels. There is a hidden dynamic. And unless you find what the hidden dynamic is, you will not understand your spouse, even if you speak the same language. So let us take out these hidden things and put it on the table and let us see what is there. So we have power over the trajectory of our marriages. It doesn't depend on outer things. It depends on what we do for each other. Let me introduce you to some of our friends. This is a German couple, René and Anke. They are very close to us, and we were attending on their wedding too. And a few years after their wedding, they came into a big crisis of their life. Their house was flooded by the Elbe River, and they needed to build a new house. They couldn't move back into the old house, and they made a new house. And as they invited us to see the new house, then I learned something. This house has 3 levels. One is under the ground, the cellar. Then there is the garage, and above the garage is the living room. And by looking at this house, I understood something about the nature of marital conflicts. It is a model that was invented by the emotional focus therapy by a lady called Sue Johnson. But the way how I understood what this model really is came from the house. On the top floor is the living room. That is your behavior, what you are doing. Then on the ground floor is the garage. There are your emotions. And in the cellar are the deeper needs and the deeper desires. So imagine your neighbor. Your neighbor lives next to you for maybe 4 or 5 years, and through the window of the living room, he saw you already fighting with your spouse many, many times. So he developed a sense of understanding what is going on in your marriage, and after 2 or 3 words or some very characteristic face expressions, your neighbor can recognize when the moment comes when he can prepare the popcorn because you will give them program. You know? From 2 or 3 movements, he can already decide, oh, a program starts at the neighbor's house, so let us eat popcorn. He knows because there is a pattern. but you are not aware of your own patterns. Now I want to solve this riddle. I want to solve the pattern. Let us imagine a couple. How should we call them? Give me a male name. Oh. Anne and Bill. Okay, Anne and Bill. Okay. Bill comes home. Anne is already at home and she is waiting for Bill to come. And as Bill opens the door and goes into the house, he already sees the face expression of his wife. I cannot do it, but it is something like you circle your eyes and wave your mouth at the same time. It's deadly. It's the #1 killer of everything positive. So Bill comes into the house and says to himself, okay, this is going to be that kind of night again. Let's get prepared for the battle. And as Anne comes towards him, he gets out of her way, goes into the living room, sits on the couch, switches in the television, and starts watching. Anne, still standing there, circling the eyes, waving the mouth. I can't believe this! You just... What? She goes after him, stands in front of him and says, hello, is there somebody? What is he doing? Takes the remote control and makes it louder so he can close her out of his world. And the fight begins, and the neighbor is eating the second portion of popcorn already. This is their pattern. So maybe it looks familiar to you, but we all play these games. In different ways, but we all have our patterns. And you know, when you recognize what is on which level, then you develop a sense of the game that you are playing. Let us see what is on different levels at Bill's house. What is in his living room? In his living room is to avoid his wife, to look at the television, to make it louder, to withdraw himself out of the conflict. What are his emotions when he does this kind of behavior? What do you guess? What kind of emotions come up in him? He feels upset, hurt, frustrated, not again. Can I have at least one calm evening in the week? Not always the same thing? Easy. Everything else than positive. What are his deeper needs that are in the cellar? And the tragical thing is that during the quarrel, he has no access to the cellar. It is hidden. He's not aware of what is going on in his cellar. But in a relaxed moment, like this is now for you, maybe, I hope so at least, he can understand what is he really longing for. And he starts fantasizing and he says, it was not always like this. Every time I came home, she jumped on me and hugged me and kissed me and I felt loved. But now, she's looking at me with those killing eyes, as I were the worst person on the planet. I know exactly what's on her mind. We just bought a new furniture that we need to put together, just like I did to my son's new flat, which I told you yesterday. But it is there in this package for 3 weeks now. she's upset because of this, but I have no time for that. But does she still love me? I mean, how can she say that she loves me when she looks me with these eyes? No way. She doesn't love me. The deeper need is, do you still love me? But it is so painful to ask this question when she looks at him with these eyes. Let us see her side. What is her behavior? She's going after him. She is the persuader in this relationship, and he is the withdrawer, which is, according to research, the true in 80% of marriages. She persuades, he withdraws. It's the same pattern everywhere. She would like to have answers. She would like to put together this piece of furniture that is there for 3 weeks already. She goes after him. She yells at him. She's doing everything to get his attention. This is the behavior, the living room. But what is in her garage? What are her emotions at this moment? Emotions like disappointment. This is not what you promised me. This is not what we agreed on. I thought I have a husband who is always at my side. I thought I have a husband who is willing to work together with me, to bring the things in the same direction and not going out of my way. I'm totally disappointed, she reports. And I am frustrated too. And yes, I need to admit, I'm angry. I could explode. How can he do this? For 3 weeks, if he knows that it is so important to me. I'm exploding. I'm angry. But what is in the cellar? What is beneath all this stuff that you can see? What is the hidden thing that you cannot see? What is her big question at the moment? Am I important to you? Am I important to you? Do I still mean something to you? Or are we so far away that we just live together under the same roof like two strangers? Am I important to you? This is her big question. And you know what? In 9 cases out of 10, in the cellar is always the same question. In Bill's cellar, what was that? Do you still love me? In Anne's cellar, am I important to you? But they have no access to that stuff. It is hidden down in the cellar. Everything they have access to is what happens upstairs in the living room. But what happens upstairs in the living room is connected to the thing that is down there in the cellar. Because if he is avoiding her and going to his favorite couch, he gives an answer with his behavior to her question. Am I important to you? What is the answer out of this behavior? No! The answer is no. And of course, she feels it. She's not aware of it, that what was the question and what was the answer, but she feels rejected. And out of this emotion, she starts behaving in the way how she behaves. She goes after him. She yells at him. And without knowing it, and without intending it, she gives an answer with this kind of behavior to his question. Do you still love me? No. He is not aware of the answer, but he feels it. He feels it in his stomach. He feels it. And he avoids her even more and gives an even louder no to her question. She yells even louder at him and gives a louder no to his question. And it goes on and on and on and dribble and we bring up on the surface what is beneath, and if we have an understanding for the hidden pattern, I say to the couples, I look at you and I see two cowboys in the Western movie. You know, at the end of every Western movie, there is a very typical scene. The two main characters of the movie stand in front of each other with the gun in their hand, you know. And they shoot already half of their ammo in the body of the other, but they both still live. If you stop the movie here, what can you predict? What will happen next? They will shoot the other part of the ammo in the body of the other, and both will die. This is one probability. The other is, maybe one of them will say, okay, you know what? This doesn't make sense. So whatever you do, I quit. I put down my gun, and you do what you want to do. It's okay, at least one survives. It's a much better outcome than the other way around, isn't it? At least one survives. But what if the other says, okay, but if you don't have a gun anymore, I will not shoot at you, and both of them survive? Who is going to be the first to put down the gun? That's the question. So if you find yourself in that situation, in that trap, be you the one who puts down the gun and stops playing here on the surface and goes deep down. And I'll show you 3 steps how you can break this destructive circle. Step number 1 is to dig down. Where? Straight into the center. What is your deepest need in that moment? Bill, do you still love me? And am I important to you? So dig down and get connected to your deeper needs. After you got connected to your deeper needs, share it. I'll show you these movements to remember. Dig down, share it. Without criticism, without contempt, without blaming the other, just reporting about what is going on inside of you. If I'm Bill, I would say to them, you know, honey, I see the big boxes of furniture that you want me to put together. But after such a long day, I'm so exhausted. I solved problems the whole day. And I just want to sit down and take some breath. But as I see how you look at me, a deep question comes up. Do you still love me? I used to feel loved at your side. But now I feel this emptiness. Do you still love me? I'm longing so much for this feeling again, to be loved by me. And then you can ask something. Would you please just sit next to me for a half an hour and embrace me so I feel loved, so I can gather some strength? And after it, maybe we could try to put this furniture together as a team, how we used to do it earlier, some years ago. This would mean so much to me, just to feel loved again. Dig down, share, and ask. If I am Anne, I would say, what is in my cellar? I first dig down and I find, am I important to you? I mean, everybody knows that this is not about the furniture. How is he not able to see it? But by neglecting this, he is neglecting me. By rejecting to put it together, he is rejecting me. So I need to tell this to him, because obviously he cannot see this. So, Bill, every time when you come home and you go around this box, not even looking at it, it is just like a knife in my heart. Because this box symbolizes your attention and your affection to me. And I used to feel so important to you. I used to feel myself at the center of your world. But I'm not able to recall when was the last time I felt important to you. And I hunger for this feeling. I hunger to feel important to you. Would you please, Steffi, ask, would you please, just as a sign of goodwill, just open the box? That would show me that I am still important to you. And maybe after having dinner together, we could do something together there. And look for the pieces, look for the tools, and start putting the pieces together. I would feel important again. Do you feel the same that I feel now? In a way, we start to speak about our deepest needs and emotions, the atmosphere around us comes down. It becomes calm. Your pulse gets down. You start breathing deeper and slower because you feel safe. When you are here, upstairs in the living room, you get tense. You raise your voice. Your heart is beating much faster. You breathe much faster and more superficial. But by speaking about your deepest needs and emotions, you calm down. So, let us see what are the 4 things that you should avoid at any cost. Yesterday I told you about the signs of the end. Now we go further to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And I'm not speaking about biblical theology. I'm speaking about marital dynamics, okay? The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse is criticism, which means verbally attacking the personality or character of the other part. Contempt, attacking sense of self with an intent to insult or abuse. Defensiveness, victimizing yourself. It's not my fault, it's your fault. And stonewalling, which means withdrawing to avoid conflict and convey disapproval, distance, and separation. According to research, these are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. When they appear in your living room, it's nearly time to pack in your stuff because you're going to leave your home. Let's see a short video.
You're so selfish.
What an idiot.
It's not my fault we're always late.
Forget it.
Criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Dr. John Gottman calls these negative communication patterns the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse because they'll lead to the end of your relationship. In fact, he can predict this relationship failure with over 90% accuracy if the behavior isn't changed. So, what can you do? Well, at the Gottman Institute, we understand you might not even know you're communicating this way, or you might not know how to control it. But if you practice the following 4 research-based antidotes, there is hope for your future. Criticism attacks the character of the recipient instead of focusing on a specific behavior. The antidote to criticism is to talk about your feelings using I statements, then express a positive meaning. Contempt is an expression of superiority that comes out of sarcasm, cynicism, name-calling, eye-rolling, sneering, mockery, and hostile humor. Contempt is the greatest predictor of relationship failure and must be eliminated. The antidote to contempt is to treat one another with respect and build a culture of appreciation within the relationship. Defensiveness is self-protection through righteous indignation or playing the victim. Defensiveness never solves the problem and is really just an underhanded way of blaming your partner. The antidote to defensiveness is to accept responsibility, even if only for part of the conflict. Stonewalling occurs when the listener withdraws from the conversation without resolving anything. It takes time for the negativity created by the first three horsemen to result in stonewalling, but when it does, it can become a habit. The antidote to stonewalling is to break for at least 20 minutes, calm down, then return to the conversation. Spare your relationship from certain destruction. Learn more about eliminating the four horsemen by visiting our site.
Let me put it in a different way. Whatever you say during a quarrel, you are pushing one of the two buttons on the head of your spouse. And if your spouse is here now, please take a look at their head. Can you see these two buttons? One is here, the other is here. One is a blue button and the other is a red button. If you push the blue button, you will switch your spouse into the mode of empathy and cooperation. But if you push the red button, that's the end of the world. You are the one who switches him or her into the self-defense or attack mode. So, have you seen what Anne and Bill was doing? She stood here as he came in, rolling her eyes and waving her mouth. By doing this, she was pushing one button on Bill's head. Which button was this?
Self-defense.
Definitely the red button. But by digging down and by sharing, you push the blue button. By saying, I want to feel loved again. And we used to be so close to each other. I want to feel you close to me. Please, come sit next to me. Embrace me. Give me a kiss. I want to feel loved again. By doing this, you push which button? The blue one. Exactly. You learned the lesson. I'm so proud of you. But let us summarize which behaviors are blue buttons and which ones are the red buttons. The issues that you raise during a quarrel. If you raise and clarify current issues, then you push the blue button. But if you bring up old issues, you know it's always the same with you. You have such a strange taste. We can never agree. It was 5 years ago the same. You have already pushed the red one. The feelings. If you express both positive and negative feelings, you push the blue button. But if you express only the negative ones, then you push the red button. Information. If you give complete and honest information, you push the blue button. But if you offer only selected information that supports your point of view, you push the red button. Where is the focus? It concentrates on the issue rather than the person. Blue button. It concentrates on the person rather than the issue. Red button. Blame. It can be your fault and mine as well. It is something that we created together, and we need to solve it together. Blue button. It's always your fault. It's because of you, because you are such a... Should I continue? Red button. Perception focuses on similarities. Blue button. Focuses on differences. Red button. Change. Facilitate change to prevent stagnation. Blue button. Minimizing change by increasing the conflict. I will never change because it is a question of truth. And I am on the right side. I will never change my opinion. Red button. Recognizes both must win or both will lose. Blue button. It doesn't matter if you lose or win. The main thing is that I win. Red button. Increasing intimacy by resolving the conflict, blue button. Decreasing intimacy by escalating the conflict, red button. I'm sure you have the same experience. There are conflicts after which it is so easy and natural to hug each other and maybe to go on in the direction of the bedroom.
Amen.
And there are conflicts after which you don't want to see each other for the next 3 days. Red button, blue button. The attitude. Do the one thing for a period of 2 years, and the whole atmosphere will be the atmosphere of trust. Do the other thing, and the whole atmosphere of the home will be the atmosphere of suspicion. I'm sure there are many pastors among you. And as a pastor, I made the discovery, when I enter into a home, I just feel something from the air. There is an atmosphere in every home. In some homes it is the atmosphere of fear, distrust, conflict. In other homes it is the atmosphere of trust, respect, love. It creates an atmosphere depending on which buttons are you pushing all the time. So you will create an atmosphere by doing this. So I want to challenge you now. I want to challenge you to decide which buttons you want to push from now on. You are pushing buttons all the time. It's not a question whether you will push a button or not. The question is only which button you want to push. Let me give you some support from Paul. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing one another in love. Which button is this? Blue. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Which button is this? Blue. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Which button is this? Blue. Whole teaching of the Bible is about the gospel of relationships. You can observe the Sabbath and pushing the red button all the time. Then you misunderstood Christianity. You can eat the cleanest food on the planet and pushing all the time the red button. You misunderstood Christianity. Christianity is about relationships. Christianity is about pushing the right buttons. And the homework, my appeal to you is to take responsibility for the solution of the conflict and exercise the power over the trajectory.